Guys, how's it going? So in an effort to produce more Hearthstone content, because a lot of times when I stream, if there is an interesting game, I have like music playing, and that means that it's very difficult to upload it to YouTube. I'm gonna be doing a lot more videos like this, where maybe I just take the deck and play it on ladder for a little bit and see what we can do with it. This is a Deathwing Control Warrior deck that I grabbed off of Reddit. Probably, I think it was about a week ago, and I played a few games with it. Things didn't go so well, but I think it has potential. I don't think this is like a top tier Control Warrior deck by any means, but it does have some interesting stuff that people are not going to play around because you hardly ever see it. It's got a lot of the standard Control Warrior stuff: double execute, double shield slam, double fiery war axe, double armor smith, double cruel taskmaster, one unstable ghoul just to make the like face hunter matchup a little bit more tolerable and to slow down some of the other aggro decks. It's also particularly good against Tempo Mage because you play that into Mirror Entity a lot of the time, and it just completely stalls out their board. Double shield block. A lot of control warriors are running one shield block now, but this deck, because it does run so much like late game, having that early sustain and card draw is really important. Double Acolyte of Pain, completely standard. Big Game Hunter, standard. Double Despite. One Brawl. This deck effectively uses Deathwing kind of like your second Brawl. So if you're playing against Grim Patron, so you use your first Brawl to clear like their Patron combo on turn 8 or 9, and then they draw a bunch of cards and go to Patron combo again, that's when you drop Deathwing. So Deathwing is actually really strong in that matchup. Harrison Jones, for obvious reasons. There's tons of Paladins right now. Harrison Jones isn't so great against aggro Paladin, because it means that they get lots of cards off of Divine Favor, but there are still quite a few rogues. I've seen this weird mech rogue deck that's been popping up. I'm not sure if that's a thing or if just people are screwing around with like mech oil rogue. There are obviously lots of warriors, and getting Harrison on a Despite against Grim Patron can often shut them down for several turns. As you've seen when I play Patron on stream, my opponents always have Harrison on the turn that I'm about to go off with my patrons. One Sludge Belcher. Sludge Belcher, I think, is still a really solid minion, but he's gone down in value a little bit, especially since Patron came out, just because he can be a liability in that situation, because what happens is they go Warsong, Patron, Inner Rage, charge into the Sludge Belcher, charge the second Patron into the 1-2, and then they have 2 patrons on the board. And if they have a Whirlwind, that means they're getting 4 minions, or 4 patrons, and clearing your Sludge Belcher without really any effort whatsoever. So it's kind of a liability in that situation. Against specifically Patron Warriors, I honestly think that the best tech that you can make if you want to run taunts, even though this seems kind of crazy, but I think Sunwalker is the best minion to play against Patron Warriors. If you're like specifically looking to target them with a taunt, one of the better ones for like that all classes can use, just because even if they whirlwind off the Divine Shield, they still have to run typically 2 minions or 1 minion plus a weapon into it, and there's no way for them to benefit from patrons, like getting more patrons from it, unless they have Commanding Shout, which nobody runs. Double Shield Maiden, completely standard. Sylvanas. Sylvanas is an awesome minion. She's still pretty good in the current meta. She's maybe gone down in value a little bit because there's so many decks that are either like so fast that you never get a chance to actually, like, you steal a minion with Sylvanas, it's like, who cares, you're dead. Or it's a combo deck that can like easily deal with Sylvanas or just ignore Sylvanas and kill you anyway. So she's not quite as good as she has been. Like when the matchups are more heavily control oriented, less combo oriented, she's amazing, but she's still very good. Dr. Boom, for obvious reasons. And here's one of the different minions, Ren Blackhand. Ren Blackhand is one of the cards, came out in Blackrock Mountain, and people basically laughed because it seems like it's ridiculously, like, its stats are really crazy. Its Battle Cry is fairly strong. If you're holding a dragon, it's really strong, but it, for 7 mana, you kind of want more. But I have found that he is actually pretty useful, especially when you're in a situation where you've used all your earlier stuff, and you and your opponent are kind of at a stalemate. And say on like turn 7, they have like 2 cards in their hand, and they play Emperor. And your turn 7 or your turn 8, you play Red and Black Hand, kill it for free. So you're pretty much always going to have a dragon in your hand unless you get extremely unlucky. There are 3 dragons in this deck. So the chance of you having one of those 3 dragons in your hand by the time you can play Rend is like ridiculously high. It's got to be 70 to 80%. I would imagine. I'm not going to sit down and do the math right now, but it's very, very high. So Rend is kind of surprising because, like I said, people don't play around it. You'll be in a situation where maybe like you have no armor, you've used like double execute, and they think, oh well, he absolutely can't kill this huge minion. And I just like Doctor Boom. You can't kill this Doctor Boom no matter what. And then you just throw down red black hand. So it's stronger than it looks, and it works reasonably well in conjunction with Deathwing, because Deathwing, if you have it in your hand, you're not going to be playing it until you pretty much absolutely have to. So you're going to have it activated for Rend a lot of the time. Grom, completely standard. Alexstrasza, completely standard. Nefarian, Nefarian you could swap out for Ysera if you want, I think. It's not a huge difference. Like, Nefarian is the more fun card right now, I guess. Playing Nefarian and getting like some spell that wins you the game against whatever random class your opponent is playing can be really awesome. Like the last game I played right before I started this video, I played Nefarian, got Ice Block, and played the Ice Block the next turn, and my opponent like instantly conceded. So because they had like barely enough damage to probably kill me in their deck, on top of whatever secret I had. So it can be like just like a really fun card, and I think it's important to play decks that you enjoy playing. Deathwing, as I said, it acts as like a second brawl. Sometimes when your opponent even just like a lot of times Deathwing is better than Brawl because your opponent completely empties their hand, thinking, okay, well he can't deal with all this stuff. Maybe they've seen you Brawl already, and then you just drop down Deathwing. Maybe you lose like Dr. Boom or something like that, or a couple other cards. You do have to manage your hand size a little bit with this deck, just because you don't want to be losing too many cards with Deathwing. But it is fun to play Deathwing. I really wish I had Golden Deathwing, because Golden Deathwing is really badass looking. But unfortunately, I did get him in a pack at one point, and I disenchanted it to make, I think, I believe it was actually the first Grom I crafted. So Golden Deathwing is not in the cards right now, but who knows what'll happen. Maybe I'll open a bunch of really crappy gold legendaries from TGT, and I'll be able to craft a gold Deathwing. So let's try playing a few games with it. Right now, that's definitely not what we want to do. Right now, my rank is not very good. I've kind of stalled out. I went from rank like 17 to rank 10 in the space of like 2 or 3 hours, playing Patron and Aggro Paladin. And then the last few days, just seems like my luck has been fairly abysmal. Usually when my opponent has like one out for lethal, they draw it 100% of the time. So hopefully we can switch that around. Let's see if we can do it by playing this deck for a few games. Obviously it's going to have most of the same weaknesses that Control Warrior does. It's going to be weak to like extremely aggressive decks that just do not care. Like not weak, like Control Warrior is probably better against those decks than most decks, but decks that can put like sustain on the board, put damage out that is difficult to deal with all at once.
Victory or death.
So means Paladin. We don't have any like naked whirlwind effects in this deck. Cruel Taskmaster is okay, I feel, because if we get like a Fiery War Axe or something, we can Cruel Taskmaster and kill pretty much any Paladin minion that they can drop before turn 4. Armorsmith is very nice. Acolyte's nice to have early against Paladin. If it's Aggro Pally, we have to be a little careful. So this kind of sucks, because if he has Blessing of Might and we play Armorsmith, then it trades with the Armorsmith for free, but I think we have to go for it. We Cruel Taskmaster here, we're just giving him free damage for no reason. So the only other play is just a pass.
Shields up. Red alert.
Strike.
This is going to be tricky. We know this is Aggro Pally, so playing Acolyte is kind of iffy. We don't really want to potentially give him a lot of cards, but we also do need to draw into our weapons and stuff. So in this matchup, no matter what kind of warrior you're playing, it's always like a really tenuous balance. If he's smart here, he's going to trade into the armor smith. Okay. But yeah, this is not the greatest play in the world. We need a minion on the board that can kill his stuff. We don't mind drawing some cards if we can draw into our early game stuff. If we end up drawing like all of our late game stuff, it's going to be a disaster. Excuse me. I coughed for the last week or so that I just haven't been able to get rid of. Unstable Ghoul would be awesome right now. So yeah, the problem right now is that we have 3 minions in our hand that are 6 mana or more. So I think we're just going to do this. We happen to know that 99% of aggro paladin decks do not run Quartermaster, so we're not really afraid of Quartermaster right now. If this is just like a mid-range paladin that happened to be running Argent Squire, then that's fine. But we do have to slow him down a little bit. Brawl is very nice to have.
Reporting for duty. Ha ha! Get in there and fight, maggot!
Hopefully this card is not Divine Favor, because we're going to have to Brawl here. And if that's Divine Favor, then he can just reload his hand. If 2-1 survive there, we'd be pretty unlucky. There's a play boom now. Pretty happy with that. So at this point, the most reach he could have would be Blessing of Kings plus like Blessing of Might. It's pretty unlikely. I think we play Dr. Boom. And hopefully he doesn't have some ridiculous combo. Like he could have a quality here that's run in some aggro pallies. That's fine.
Put this apple on your head.
Reporting for duty.
I think he's taking a lot of risks here. If it did 1 damage there, I would freaking cry. Okay, so we'll just go Unstable Ghoul.
I can take the hit.
And trade, even though kind of sucks to hit a 4 attack minion with a 7 attack minion, but basically at this point the only way we're gonna lose is if we let him stick a bunch of stuff that can smash our faces in. This Consecrate is pretty worthless unless he's
Reporting for duty.
like it seemed like he was attacking face, maybe he's not. So we have 13 damage on the board, and we have Alex in our hand. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage on the board, so we could theoretically lose if he top decks something insane. So it depends on how we want to play this. I think I'm going to play it a little bit safe with Sledge Belcher. That. By Alex there, then he potentially does have some wins. Right now he has like very few wins. He's still not killing Dr. Boom. Okay.
Excuse me.
I bring life.
He doesn't draw Divine Favor, he pretty much can't win at this point. Watch me eat my words.
The victory is
Okay. So we didn't really get to show off the deck very well. Hopefully the next game we will. I wasn't trying to BM there, I just didn't get a chance to click it. Unfortunately, we haven't had any really compelling matchups, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to play until I do, and then I'll just edit it down to better size. So if you guys see some skips, it's not because I'm cutting out games that I played badly or anything, it's because I want to highlight the games where the deck actually shows its strength.
victory or death.
Against Druid, we want Despite, Fiery War Axe, lesser than slightly less than Despite, I think. Execute is decent. If we had Execute and Cruel Taskmaster, would keep both, but since we have just one of them, we'll
My greetings.
draw.
Greetings.
We have a decent start here. Depending on what he does. Like, we have to play the Armorsmith here, even though he can just Wrath and hit it and kill it. If he doesn't, then we get to kill the...
Where shall I strike?
Okay. Just Druid things. Raid is a completely balanced card. Are you fucking serious? This is like the just pure greed. Oh, he's kind of fucked himself here. Because I can just do this. Chosen not to draw a card. He could have made it so I couldn't really clear the font, which is just very strange. Pretend this is a card that we can actually play this turn, but we're not going to for some reason. Maybe they'll trick him.
No problem.
Yeah, because he got greedy there. He actually screwed himself over a little bit. Another innervate play, probably Dr. Boom. Seems like he doesn't have Keeper. So... just play Sylvanas.
I have no time for games.
Like, Druid, it seems like it's one of the easier decks to get into. Like, Face Hunter is not difficult to play, win like 52% of the time or even 60% of the time, but... Nice. Thing when you play Control Warrior, if you can use Shield Slam, you generally, especially against Druid, you generally want to. We're not going to Shield Slam that and then just play nothing. Like, we'd have to Shield Slam Fiery War Axe and then Armor Up, which would be really weak. So even though this gets screwed over by BGH, we're still going for it. Eventually those bombs can kill that entire Shredder.
I wonder.
And I want them both to go face. Yeah, that's nice. Let's just use a swipe, so that means Harrison's a little bit safer. Is there any reason to go with Despite? draw a dragon, we'll be pretty happy to play Rend.
Who dares defile this ancient land?
What? Okay, thank you. That was a very nice top deck. Look for that second swipe. If this forces out combo, I'll be pretty happy. Nice, or at least force of nature, not necessarily combo, but yeah. Oh, he hasn't had BGH, so Nefarian should be pretty safe.
Wild is mine to control.
Starfire might be useful, healing touch probably less so. I guess we can restore health to one of our minions.
I concede.
Nice. Rand was actually really useful. Got a little bit lucky. Excuse me, to be in a position where Rand was useful, but he was useful nonetheless. He straight up murdered that dude. Fortunately, I don't believe I've had a chance to play Deathwing yet.
Garrosh versus Jaina.
You asked for
Worst feeling ever is when you have Deathwing in your hand and it'll win you the game, but the mage has a secret that pretty much has to be mirror enemy. Mage, we want early weapons. Armorsmith is okay, but it's Tempo Mage, feels like they always have flame cannon. Or they can kill it for free, so we don't necessarily want to play it on turn 2. We have like a really good follow-up. Excuse me. It's really nice to play it on like turn 5 or 6. When they behind a Sludge Belcher. When they are getting ready to set up for Flame Waker. No mirror images. I give 0 fucks about your I am ready. Curving out reasonably well here. Down to 23 health, but we have Armorsmith on the field plus shield block. Love it when they do that. Stay on curve.
Strike.
Hold the weapon. He runs Harrison, we're gonna get owned. My issue is going to be if he plays like Yeti this turn, then we are in a position where we kind of want to shield block and see if we can get like Cruel Taskmaster, but we also don't want to shield block and just waste the armor if we end up having to hit the Yeti.
The light does not discriminate.
Strike.
Job's done.
have him in kind of an awkward position because he doesn't really want to play minions. We want to play Sylvanas here. Kinda yes, but also kinda no. I want to play it before he gets a secret out for sure.
I have no time. Strike.
He has to fireball, then he's not really doing anything else, so that's fine. He can play Dr. Boom. I wish they would fix whatever that targeting problem is.
Strike.
Shows them targeting your minion, but they target your face, so it can actually affect how you play if you're like, constantly reformulating what your game plan is going to be. Yes, he used another fireball here to clear Dr. Boom, then it'd be very difficult for him to win. He has very little burn left in his deck.
What to
Unless he
do?
gets
What to do?
really lucky and gets to stick. What's his name? Aha! Antonitis.
Time runs out on me.
Been pretty lucky in this game that we had like all the answers and we curved out really well. I have no doubt we're gonna see a Flame Strike next turn.
I can take the hit.
Strike.
But if he does Flame Strike, then we can just Alex his face and smack him for 5. Well, see if he Flame Strikes, he'll probably take bomb damage, so Alex isn't gonna be super amazing. But yeah, another thing that he probably won't be able to deal with. Interesting. Is there a better play than Alex here? I don't think so.
Strike.
Not too sure why he would choose to play it and then ping. Seems like a pretty big misplay. Kinda needs that stay alive to have any chance of winning.
What to do? What to do?
You require my assistance?
Someday I'll be just like you.
And now here's the part where he wastes our time for like a minute because he didn't win the game, so he's got to play his entire hand.
You win.
Some people just do that like consistently. I can't believe they didn't win. They have to show you their entire hand and show you, oh, I would have had one more thing, I would have won, or, oh, look at how bad my hand was.